What's good, everybody? Old Pop is back with more Shadowlands video like I've been mentioning. I'm making one video every day until Shadowlands is released. All PvP based content. I want to get as much content as I can out there for everybody. I want everyone that enjoys PvP to be prepared and be ready because let's just be honest, BFA didn't have the best PvP standards with their RNG gear and RNG abilities, and I think Shadowlands is doing a nice job so far fixing it up. It may not be the best, but at least at bare minimum, they did bring back their PvP vendor and everything like that, so I can't be completely hating. So I am liking what I'm seeing. In today's video, we're going to be going over the top 5 dueling specs in the game. I would also greatly appreciate any like or sub to my channel if you guys could. And now, here we go. The one thing that I like about dueling is that certain specs match up well against other specs, and it also gives an opportunity for certain classes that aren't necessarily great in arena because they don't have enough things that work well with them. It has the chance for them to shine in dueling, and BGs also offers that for just classes that just aren't really meant for arena. There are a couple of specs like that, like enhancement, ret pally, balanced druid, a couple more, and they just seem like they never are the best for arena, but they are always somewhat good in terms of dueling and BGs. So I like things like that. That way it just levels out the game and makes those specs relevant as well. So let's jump into it. For number 5, I actually have 2 different specs to go over, and I really just couldn't narrow it down, like who I should leave out. So I just figured, you know what, I'm going to go over both of them for 1v1 terms. That way there's no complaints because they are both good. So it's like 1A, 1B for the 5th spot. So first we're going to go over Ret Paladin. So where Ret Pally may lack in arena due to lack of comps, they work with limited mobility, and they definitely make up for it in dueling. So that's the exact opposite issues with Warriors right now. Warriors are so great in arena. It's unbelievable how good they are with a team, but in terms of solo PvP, they just don't have it. So Paladins are one of the most difficult classes to kill in 1v1 terms. Reason being is they have a plethora of abilities to pause the fight or essentially just reset the battle, making it even more challenging for specs that can't heal. Word of Glory is the best heal for off healers in the game, easily bringing all of your health back. Since it's a duel, all moves are available, even moves that just aren't available in arena, they just exclude those, meaning Lay on Hands is on the table again. If they are going against melee, they can stall with Blessing of Protection. Then finally they have their regular bubble that obviously makes them immune to everything. With all this stall, they can wait for the perfect opportunity to pop cooldowns and blow up their target with Execution Sentence, which is a one-hit KO ability even with full health. So if they're waiting for the right moment, stalling with all that heal, all their defensive abilities, and they get you down to about 70-60% health, even though you might have the lead on them, and just blast all their cooldowns, Avenging Crusader, pop their wings, and then hit Execution Sentence, you're done. And they could keep waiting for this to happen and keep redoing it. They're just going to keep living. So that's why they definitely belong in the top 5. And now, let's go over Shadow Priest. They're borderline in this top 5, but I just couldn't leave them off. For the last few expansions, Shadow has been near the bottom for solo PvP due to too much ramp and cast of dots. But not anymore. Great defensive kit and abilities with greater fade, a must pick PvP talent, and can't forget Dispersion, obviously. Excellent cast healing with Shadow Mend, comboed with the legendary Measured Contemplation, and of course, you can't forget Power Word Shield as well. They just have these moves that are just staples, which has strong initial heal now, as well as a solid amount of damage that gets absorbed. Vampiric Embrace and Devouring Plague also provide some of the best passive heals in the game, as well as solid dot damage. High instant burst, using Damnation to apply all their dots at once, which makes it very easy to maintain those dots on the target, and follow it up with going into Void form, using Power Infusion and Shadow Fiend to apply consistent pressure on the target, finishing it off with an insane, really insane, it might be, I don't want to say it's the best, I might be pushing it, but for casters, they definitely are on the upper end for CC. They have Fear, Silence, Thought Steal, if you pick Thought Steal, but in that talent range, there is other ones to pick. They're all CC related. And then obviously Psychic Horror is definitely a preferred choice. And they also have the best Covenant in the game with Mind Games, especially in terms of 1v1ing. So that covers number 5. And now here we go with number 4. We got Windwalker Monk. So it could really arguably, oh my god, I can't speak right now. It could arguably be top 3 without question. Some of the best mobility with rolls, flying serpent kick, and transcendence to catch up to their targets. Some of the best single target bursts in the game with Fallen Order, Schwinn, Fist of Fury. And if you've been keeping up with my daily videos, you definitely heard me go on and on about Touch of Death. I just can't get over this move enough. The best finishing move in the game, hands down, instantly killing targets at below 15% health. This really is making their duels, their battle is only till 15% health, while their opponent has to get the target to 0% health. So this is definitely a big deal for dueling. Follow all this up with their strong defenses. This includes Touch of Karma. Then they have their healing with Reverse and Vivify, and Fortifying Brew. And Fortifying Brew is similar to the PvP trinket that increases your max health, but it's legitimately on steroids with what it does. Not only does it give max health, it reduces damage. It's really insane what it does. And also can't leave out additional pressure from Invoke Zune, summoning a tiger that deals 10% of the total damage you dealt every 4 seconds. If you use this at the right time with Fallen Order and you're popping all your bursts, that 10% every 4 seconds is going to be huge. So, with all that being said, I put them at number 4 on my list. Number 3. Number 3, we have Feral Druid. I could be a little bit partial towards it because I'm probably going to be picking Druid. That's why I said Monk is arguably number 3, but Feral is really, no matter what, one of the best duelers in the game, and I have it on the number 3 spot. So, Feral has always been one of the best duelers, and this expansion is more of the same. Obviously, always gets the jump on targets with Prowl, and can start off with huge burst damage with Shred, which also does increase damage while you're in stealth. Can always keep up with their target or easily get away with the best mobility in the game, hands down, by using Travel Form, Sprint while in Cat Form, or Stampeding Roar. An interesting thing about Stampeding Roar, actually, you have to use it while you're in bear form. If you're in any other form and you click it, it automatically puts you in bear form. But here's the thing. That 60% increased speed, if you switch to travel form, now you're going the speed of a mount. If you switch to cat form, now you're going 80% faster. So if you do those things that already have increased speed after using Stampeding Roar, it stacks. So it is something good to know. Other than Ret Paladin, they also have some of the best off heals in the game. Heart of the Wild might be the second best off heals for melee. I think it definitely is. Strong sustained damage and pressure with full combo point bleeds, and some nasty burst damage they have now. The burst comes largely from big crits by combining Tiger's Fury with a 5 combo point Ferocious Bite. And they also have popping Berserk, and what Berserk does gives the same damage with Shred as if you were stealthed. So that's a big deal because Shred is essentially their second hardest hitting move after Ferocious Bite. And they also have decent CC and interrupts. Obviously, they have Skull Bash. They can pause the fight really quick with Cyclone and heal back up and basically just start the fight all over again. So they definitely are in the top 3. Next up, big ol' Frost Mage. Should be no surprise that they're in here. So, Frost Mage, best caster for dueling in the game by far. Frost Mage is the destroyer of melees and makes them look like child's play. If done correctly, most melees will never even get a single hit on them. That's how good they are right now, guys. They're just that insane. Some of the highest bursts by any caster, along with the best control of field, with numerous holds and slows. They can also reset or start the duel, opening up with Polymorph, strong instant slows with Cone of Cold, and nice defensives with Ice Barrier and 2 Ice Blocks. Obviously, that's due to Cold Snap. That's how they have 2 of them. Starting off the duel on non-stealth targets with Polymorph almost assures their victory. Easily follow that up with Ring of Frost to hold them in place, and then you're going to get massive crits from Frostbolt and you have to pick Shatter for your PvP talent, which increases your Frostbolt damage on frozen targets by 150%. So it's just 100% necessary. And then obviously, if they're still frozen, Ice Lance is the way to go. Fingers of Frost, Ice Lance. It's just insane the amount of damage that they pull off. Then they have Troon Ward, which is their legendary right now. What Troon Ward does, it really makes him durable for a cloth wearer. So, anytime you use a barrier, it also applies Ice Barrier, Blazing Barrier, and Prismatic Barrier for 65% effectiveness. So, really shockingly, they are really durable for a cloth wearer. And finally, guys, here we go. Sub Rogue. Duh. So, to end it off, of course, yet again, we have Sub Rogue at the top of the list. It's by far the best dueler for any class, especially for any melee. New additions like Premeditation and Poison's baseline makes them as strong as ever for 1v1ing. Obviously, they've had these abilities in the past, but they were always like for specific specs, so now it's for everybody. Shadow Dance and stun locking enemies, followed by insane burst from Shadow Strike. Shadow Strike also is extra dangerous right now when comboed with Symbol of Death for an additional 15% damage increase. And of course, their legendary Akari Soul. It's just insane. What it does is, using Shadow Strike or Cheap Shot, your target suffers an additional Shadow Strike 2 seconds later for 25% effectiveness. This was originally at 100%, which was just insane, but it really was necessary to get the nerf to drop it down to 25% because they were just doing way too much damage. It was insane. And you just really can't forget all their CC. Obviously, it could easily reset the match with Blind, Smoke Bomb, and Vanish. Vanish is even more critical right now because they have a passive ability that has them heal while they're in stealth, which is an excellent addition. And Rogues obviously always get to start off the duel how they want to start it off, with stealth, obviously, and also sap. So, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you guys are enjoying the content that I'm putting out there. Again, I'm going to be making a video every single day until Shadowlands. We're pretty much, unless things change, I'm going to start making videos that are very class and spec specific, getting into extreme detail. That way you really know what covenants to pick, soulbinds, things like that. And I want anybody to be ready to pick their class and know everything that they need for PvP terms. So, that's it. And if you've been enjoying my content, guys, I would really greatly appreciate a sub to my channel. I really have been very, very appreciative of all the subs that I've been getting. I'm loving it, and I really do appreciate it. So, as always, guys, thank you for tuning in.